Has it ever felt like you're doing everything right, eating healthy, working out, but your energy still crashes? Or your mood swings hit out of nowhere? I know I have. What I've learned is that a lot of these issues are tied to changes in my hormones. That's where Happy Mammoth comes in. They offer a free 2-minute quiz that can help you uncover the root cause of your hormonal symptoms. It's super easy. Just answer a few questions. You'll get a personalized recommendation to help support your hormones and start feeling better. From the hormone quiz, I learned that my estrogen rises and falls unevenly. So the solution is hormone harmony, which could help with bloating, anxiety, fatigue, overwhelm, and more. Ready to start feeling like yourself again? Head over to happymammoth.com and take their free 2-minute hormone quiz today to find the ultimate answer to your stubborn hormonal issues. And for a limited time, you can also get 15% off your entire first order with our code DATEABLE at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use the code DATEABLE for 15% off today. Hi, I'm Yue Xu.
And I'm Julie Kraftchick.
We're active daters turned dating insiders.
Here to dive into everything modern dating and relationships.
Welcome to Dateable. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Brunch Talk. We
Yay!
are live at a random time on a random day. It's a surprise live attack.
Well, the time we were supposed to go live yesterday, I was literally on a plane. So I'm like, Yue, can we do something else? Because I don't think I can make this work in any way.
One day we will. One day you'll go live on a plane.
Although I did end up paying for internet. I was on Alaska and it was only $8.
Yeah.
And I'm really obsessed with Vanderpump Rules. So I was like, what good way to pass the 6-hour plane ride than watch a bunch of Vanderpump Rules? Totally worth that $8. So in theory, I could
You could have. It would have been very awkward for people sitting next to you.
Oh my God. It would have been, my fiance would have not been happy. He won't talk to me on the plane. He would not be happy if I was doing a live. He's like, I don't know her. I don't know who that is.
Hey y'all, just coming to you live on this Delta flight. So here's the tea.
Be kind of amazing. One day we should be on the same flight, but in different seats.
Wait, are we trying to get kicked off the plane? Is this our goal?
Okay, maybe we should be on different planes.
Just go live on a plane. I did see someone do that recently. I didn't see the end product of them going live, but I saw a video of them saying, it was so cool. I went on my live today on my flight. And I just kept thinking those poor people sitting next to them. Even if you're in business class or first class, you can still hear the people next to you. And that'd be just so annoying.
It really would. Okay, I could minimally laugh on this because I'm definitely still recovering from this god-awful whatever I had. It's 90% better for anyone that tuned in last week. Hopefully I sound slightly better. But yeah, I'm gonna have to control my laughter.
Okay, we'll talk about serious things. No
serious stuff only. But okay, so for anyone that didn't know, I just got back. Well, everyone knows I was just talking about it on the plane. I got back from an East Coast trip and I had a nice little run in New York. I went for my sister-in-law's 40th birthday and then met my nephew, who is the cutest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's so sweet, 6 months old. And then I went to New York City. I went to a ton of Barnes & Noble. I got to hit up a bunch at local bookstores too, which was amazing to see our book in different places and sign copies and all of that. And then I went to Boston and Cape Cod for a college reunion and then came back. But yesterday it was oh my God, it was 100 degrees in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even exaggerating, 100 degrees. And humid. And I just can't do it anymore. I'm not cut out and built for this. Ever since I moved to California, especially San Francisco, which is the most temperate weather ever. I just can't. So before this, Yue was like, did you see Materialists? Because we had been excited about this movie for a while. I remember you sent me the preview a long time ago that this was coming about matchmakers.
Because I love Past Lives. I love that movie by Celine Song. And this is her new movie with A24.
Yep. And then obviously it's in the realm of what we do here. So it just made a lot of sense. So you were like, you have to see it and then we have to discuss it. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll see it when I get home. We'll do it. And then yesterday in this heat, I'm just like, I'm going to the theater. Like, F it, I'm going.
Theater, yes.
The theater.
And you went to Alamo, which is a great choice for a movie theater.
And it was like a children's viewing. Like in the middle of the day, they allowed babies in.
What?
So it was like, yeah, they have this thing there that like it's a little bit more lit up than normal, but it wasn't a lot. And it was only $8. That's like actually like pretty cheap for a movie.
That's like early 2000s price.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, because you clearly have opinions on this that we'll get into. And I was like, well, should I even go to the theater to see it? And I'm like, $8.
For $8?
I can
worth
do it.
it.
I can do it.
An AC? Yes.
Yeah. Yes, that was the prime motivation.
Before we get into the movie, I feel like you've gone to two kind of children's things now. Tell people about the kids' book reading. I still think your comment so funny. So you were at Barnes & Noble, or one of the bookstores, right?
I was in Hingham, Massachusetts, and they set up a really nice book display for me. Had like 30 of our books there. It was amazing. And it was definitely a more suburban demographic. And it was a Friday in the middle of the day, like in the morning. Mm-hmm. So I'd say the primary demographic was like parents with their children, so maybe not dateable readers, but you never know. You never know.
Future.
Had a few people that stopped by, but yeah, probably generally the wrong demographic for this specific time. And I had multiple people ask me like where the children's book reading was, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't work here, but also I can hear it. It's like right there. And the best part is it was like the reader had like the thickest Boston accent. I'm just like, I was enjoying I was just like sitting in my chair listening to this book.
I can't. All I picture is Marky Mark reading Dr. Seuss. I don't
even know what she was reading. I was like, I hope you hadn't asked me what book it was, because I don't even know. I was so just like drawn in by her voice that I couldn't even. I still think it was like we did this book event in LA, and one of my friends from college, I'll give her a shout out to my friend Bree. She came and she took photos, and it was like how to be dateable on Saturday, and then Sunday was like Doggy Chew Woo or something. It was like some like children's dog book. And she's like sent it to our like college group text. And she's like, The Range.
Seriously, The Range, from our book next to Mel Robbins' book.
Yeah.
Right?
I'll take that Range.
Which one was that? Which bookstore was that?
That was in Barnes & Noble, Natick, Massachusetts.
Okay. So we go from that to be front and center to then next to a children's book reading flyer. Hey.
But they were going to set up a whole table for us, which was great, of the signed books. My favorite, though, I'm not even sure if I told you this, Yue. There was this like elder couple. It was probably in like their 70s. And like the woman was with her husband. She's like, Hal, don't look over there. It's like how to be dateable. I'm clearly kidding, but it was funny.
Don't do it, or do it. So I think this brings up a good point. If you are near a Barnes & Noble in your town, we've noticed that certain Barnes & Nobles get really excited when authors come in to sign. Obviously, we don't know of all the Barnes & Nobles out there. If you are near one and you want to get them excited, ask if they would like some authors in town to sign their book, and then we'll see if we can make it happen. Because sometimes, we have these side trips, and maybe we can do a little like layover somewhere and sign a few books. That would be really fun.
Yeah, it's perfect. Like you did a few in Florida. Like it's perfect like when we're in the areas too.
Yeah. Call up your local Barnes & Noble.
I know. I'm like, never would I have imagined I'd spend this much time in Barnes & Noble.
It's a Barnes & Noble. I know.
I'm like a regular now.
And now you know where all of them are.
Yep.
Good. Okay, to the movie, because we have not discussed this at all.
Oh my God, I've been waiting for this moment.
If you haven't seen the movie, this is my personal
Materialists.
I don't personally think that us discussing it gives anything away, because I find the movie extremely predictable. You're going to know the ending already, right? So we're going to talk about what happens at the end, but I don't think it's like a big fucking surprise.
I knew what happened at the end.
Yeah, okay.
So Yue texts me and she's like, have you seen this movie yet? I'm like, no. And you're like, I literally wanted to leave the theater. And I'm like, okay, now I really am intrigued. And we had very differing viewpoints on this movie, and we have not yet talked about it. We're saving it for right now. But yesterday, I think on the plane when I had internet, I don't know how it was all of a sudden I'm in the algorithm for this movie, but I got like all the different takes and how widespread they were. This is a very polarizing movie. I would say half the people loved it, loved it, and then half the people hated it. And I'm excited because I think we're on that spectrum. You hated it, and I want to go see it again. I loved it. It was probably one of my favorite movies I've seen in a long time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So interesting. Because I went with two girlfriends, and we were also polarized. My friend Maria and I were on we almost walked out. And then my friend Emily was like, I loved it. She thought it was such a great, realistic look at dating culture today.
I agree.
Okay. So
one thing though, before we get into it, I think this was funny. Like everyone on TikTok was like, whatever your opinion is, stop calling it the materialist. It's materialist.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Is it the materialist?
I think other people did too.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
Something we learned. Yeah. Okay. So tell me, why did you want to leave the theater? What was it about it for you?
The movie started off strong for me because I thought it was like spot on. You can't go on a checklist. Just because you think you know what you want doesn't actually mean that this is going to be the perfect match for you. I felt like what it missed was a solution to this sort of mindset. And there was a very strange choice that she had to make between a very rich, successful man that she claims she didn't love after like a month of dating versus an ex-boyfriend who's a loose-ass broke guy that lives, he's like a wannabe theater actor that lives with two roommates and basically like can't keep his life afloat. And she ends up choosing the broke guy because there's love. So I felt like the message that I was getting from it was all you need is love, and the richness comes from the love in your relationship with your person, which I completely disagree with because I don't think love is enough to sustain a relationship. So that's why I was like tearing my hair out because like this is the message we've been taught for so long, that love is all you need. And the last decade we've been making progress. Like, no, you need to work on a relationship. You also need a partnership and compromising. You need to contribute to a relationship.
Totally.
And here we are with this movie in 2025 being like, no, go with a broke ass loser guy because, you know, at least you have love.
So I see your point. I don't disagree with your point, and I agree that love is not enough. I absolutely agree. But I think this is where I differ with how I view the movie. So I guess first things first, I just loved how much they went into matchmaking culture.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've kind of held back my opinion, to be honest, on this podcast. You and I talk about it a lot, and I hope I don't offend someone, but I probably will, because we have friends that are in this space and we've interviewed people, and I think I always try to like keep it professional. But I think matchmaking is like the biggest scam of all time. Like I've had friends that are like, should I hire a matchmaker because the dating apps are hard? And I'm like, no, like you're going to pay an absurd amount of money. It's all superficial. And I know matchmaking is having its moment again, and people are really into matchmaking because apps suck and they're terrible. But I don't think it's a solution. Like, how many people do you know, Yue, that have met their significant other off of matchmaking?
Oh, zero.
And how much money do you think they've spent?
Probably like 5,000, right?
At least.
Yeah.
At least on an app, if you're going to be like picky and like have all these like I think people think too when they pay, they can have that like checklist, like times a million, because you're like, oh, I'm paying all this money. This person can find it for me. I don't know if people like feel as strongly about the matchmaking industry, like the general public, because I'm not sure if they've seen the behind the scenes, but I have sat with friends of ours that have been with other matchmakers, and I'm pretty sure I know what matchmaking service Celine worked for, because Celine sang the I won't say it, but I feel like she worked for one for 6 months, she said. And this is where the inspiration came. I know Lily Womble worked with her, who we've had on this podcast, and she posted something how the first name, last initial was very triggering, because that's what they do there. But I've sat with friends of ours who worked for this company and also for themselves and other companies, and they match off the most superficial things I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, is this really how love is found? Really? So I think the movie just captured that essence so perfectly. So I just loved it for that. And it also does this whole checklist culture that we're in, and even on dating apps. So I know you like that part too, but putting that out there, I just love that part.
And I've also, on top of that, I've known multiple people who quit their jobs to be matchmakers for this company because this company promised them big money and you're helping people find love. And both of these people actually quit this matchmaking company within a year because they said it was a complete scam. And it was all just a numbers game. They just had to get people into their inventory. And it didn't matter if the matches actually worked out. It didn't matter if the people were good. It was just like, get people in.
Well, when someone's paying for the service, you feel like you have to. I feel like apps have taken the stance of like no promises, which makes people frustrated for other reasons, but they're not like trying to like dig up any last person that does it. And I think, okay, I'm going to give a little bit of a spoiler, or maybe I won't give it all away, but there's like one client that, what's the girl's name? The main lead? Do you remember? Dakota's, her character. I forget her name.
What is her character name?
Just call her Dakota Johnson. But the main matchmaker, she had this like one client we were like following. And like basically like no one wanted to date her either because she was like 39 and maybe not like all the things on paper that, you know, guys want too. It just showed how superficial people could be, which is very accurate in today's world. So with that, what ended up happening is there was a really bad turn of events of this person that she ended up getting set up with. I won't say more for anyone that didn't see it. And there was a scene that she's like, you know, all of their credentials, you know, how much money they make, you know, how tall they are, you know, like every last thing about them, but you don't know who this person is. Like, you don't know the character of this person. And I thought that was so dead on. And this is why I love this movie, is because it has shown where modern dating has gone awry. Like where we're so focused on finding this person that stacks up that we have lost track of the person underneath. And I actually don't think the larger and I've seen TikTok commentary on this. I think it's easy to say that it's like going for the broke ass and like, it's like, there was like this whole thing of like, they're telling us to settle for broke men. I don't think that was what the story was saying. I think they had to have that dichotomy to show it. I think that whole incident with her client really triggered her to think about like, what is it that I want in a partner? And it's not this stuff. It's not the stuff I've been programmed to believe are how you find a partner. Cause like she was very mathematical and I hate the dating market and all the language. It's so ick to me. And what's missing in today's world is the core connection. And she had it with that guy. Like, yes, we could say she's regressing to her ex, but like she was someone that didn't let people in easily. And you could just tell in their interactions, he's who she went to when things were not good. And like, yes, he doesn't have like everything going for him. It's not like it's not like he's a deadbeat. He was trying to work and like pursue his dream of being in theater, which raises another question is like, when do you give up your dream of like a low paying job if it's your dream? But we could table that one. But I think, UA's rolling her eyes.
Well, when you come out of your room and you step on your roommate's used condom, I think that's when you go, maybe I'm not really realizing my truth.
Here's the thing though, like, and I have friends that make significantly more than people they're with. And like, they're like, I don't need a guy to support me. Like, I think it's archaic.
Correct.
That we're out there being like, oh, we need this guy that makes X amount of money. Like women in 2025, like we can't, like, I'm not saying it needs to be on us. And I know people will like be offended by this and come after me for saying this, but like, I feel like it's regressive to think that we need some guy to save us.
I totally agree with. I don't think we need a man to support us financially, but I need a man who's able to support himself. And I need a man who's able to live a life that he is comfortable with. So I don't have to be responsible with that. So the ending of the movie, what pissed me off was that she gets this big promotion, or it's implied she's about to make a lot of money. and he's buying halal cart food for some date they're having. Basically, like, to me, that was like implying she's going to be financially supporting their lifestyle. And then the other issue I have is I don't think our decisions are our options are ever this drastic. Like, you have the really rich man with like $12 million apartment in New York City who's single and coming after you, and who bought an engagement ring after a month of dating, and then the guy that lives with 2 roommates and stepping on used condoms.
Agreed.
Like, you just never have this polarizing of a decision. I wish that the characters were more realistic, right? Like, if you compared really rich man who maybe lived in this like $5 million apartment who has some character flaws versus the guy who has a normal job, fucking accountant, whatever, who's probably not like taking you to Michelin star restaurants, who is the love of your life, that's an easier choice for me.
Right.
But to me, like, Pedro Pascal had no character flaws. He had height surgery to become taller. Like, this guy has had no character flaws, and she gave him no chances to be a deeper partner for her. Because when she experienced that challenge at work, she called her ex-boyfriend right away and wasn't trying to give her current boyfriend an option. So I just felt like the character development was very lacking.
So I hear you. I'm going to do a rebuttal, though. I do hear you, though. Like, I think yes, there's always a middle. I mean, it doesn't always have to be extreme, but I think they did it on purpose to prove a point. Like, I think with the guy that was like the millionaire, whatever, all of that, it was to show that like you could have everything good on paper, but just the connection isn't there. Mm-hmm. And I think ultimately, like, we've all been in those situations before where you're like, you should be attracted to this person. You should want to be with them. They have everything going for them, but you just don't feel that connection. You don't feel that emotional bond to them. And that's something that just is intangible, that can't be bought. It can't be like an actual quality that's checked off. And I think with I want to talk about the knee surgery after in more detail. But I think that was showing, right, that this guy was like bought into like, I'm going to do this so I can fit in and get like, be that person that's desirable. And I think a lot of us feel that way. It's like, if I was a little skinnier or a little taller, like, it'd be so much easier for me to be dateable on this dating market. But I hate the dating market. I hate that terminology, because ultimately it's about like connection to another human being. Yes. And I think with the broke guy, it was less about him being like, choose the broke dude. I get what you're saying. I get practicality, some of that, but he got her. Like, they had that connection. And I think her old self threw him out because he didn't have like the wealth and like the qualities. And like her new self after this incident realized like what mattered the most was the connection, that she just couldn't, like, that was like irreplaceable to someone else.
Yes.
I want to dive into this even more, but before we do, let's take a quick break to hear from our partners.
I am so relieved to say that the days where shapewear feel like torture devices are over. Seriously, who invented those things? They were so uncomfortable. But now, have you discovered Skims? Because I'm a Skims believer, and it's just too good to keep all to myself. The Fits Everybody collection from Skims is like nothing I've ever tried before. And here's a funny story. When I first got the cheeky bikini underwear, I thought they had sent me kid sizes because of how small they looked. I was like, this is not going to fit me. But then I was shocked that they stretch to mold to my body, and they're so comfortable. I feel like I'm wearing nothing at all. And best of all, I found the perfect color to match my skin. So these undies don't show through any white pants. Skims truly live up to the hype. Shop Skims Fits Everybody collection and more at skims.com. After you place your order, be sure to let them know that we sent you. Select podcast in the survey and be sure to select Dateable in the drop-down menu that follows.
As we're headed into summer, I feel that familiar urge to refresh my closet, but I'm not wasting money on pieces I'll only wear once or for just one season. With Quince, everything is half the cost of similar brands. By working directly with top artisans and cutting out the middleman, Quince gives you luxury without the markup, like 100% European linen shorts and dresses from $30, luxe swimwear, and so much more. I have my eye on their Italian leather platform sandals in cashew and may just be getting these in time for my bachelorette party. Their clothes are timeless, lightweight, and far more elevated than anything else at this price. Give your summer closet an upgrade with Quince. Go to quince.com/dateable for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/dateable to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dateable.
Again, it goes back to, I think Chris Evans' character is just very poorly written, because there's like a flashback scene of them when they were in a relationship and they're arguing over parking for $25. To me, that's a deeper issue in a relationship, is how you choose to spend your money. Finances is always a very sensitive topic. Did they resolve this issue, or is she just now overlooking it and she's like, it's fine, we have love? I feel like it was just oversimplified. Of course, you're going to have a deeper connection with your ex that you spent 5 years with versus the new guy that you're dating. You have to give people a chance to build a connection. I think she just kept thinking that her connection was with the ex because that's what she knew. So I think like I think we want the same things, and you took away the message that was more of the positive message that she was trying to get at, and I was just like so hung up on this character. I'm like,
so
this
maybe
character
that's
poorly written.
I think that's where there is this disconnect. I mean, I think first of all, it's not a rom-com, so if you're expecting that, I think to me it was less of like, oh, I need to choose the person. It was more of like the people were parallels for what this was trying to like say about dating and love and connection. And I think that's why I really liked the movie, because I liked what it was trying to say in the message. I see all your points. I think in an ideal world, she could have just gone back out there and started dating and been like, okay, now I know it's not all about the materialistic stuff, but I need to find someone I have a connection with. I agree on that. Just going back to your ex all the time is not the solution. But I think, I don't know, I saw some commentary that wasn't what she was trying to say, like, go back to your ex. Like, that was just what worked for these two specific characters.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's why the miscommunication or misinterpretation of the message is actually more damaging than what the movie is trying to get at. And I think it's like, you see some of the people being like, oh, it's telling me to settle. I don't think it's telling you to settle. I think settling is going for someone. Settling in the negative sense is going for someone you have no connection over.
Right.
With. And then just going for like the checklist. I think that's settling.
Totally.
I think going for love is definitely not settling. Going for love is very risky. This is like all about taking this big risk. But Julie, I'm just really irked by his character. I just can't imagine. I've dated a guy who's basically homeless, and I cannot imagine having a sustainable relationship with someone like that, who is like trying to pursue their dreams well into their late 30s. I'm sorry. Like, that's not the life I would ever choose for myself.
I mean, I think maybe that's where there's a split of people that are more pragmatic versus like romantic. And so I also saw something on TikTok that said like maybe like they felt like Celine's song was like maybe she was a little far from reality. Like if I don't know what her background is financially, so I'm just saying what I saw on TikTok, but like if you come from a situation where you always have financial security, then maybe like going for love alone, because people were saying that they thought it was crazy that she was thinking about turning down this promotion. But how I read it was like she knows how fucked this industry is. Like matchmaking. And she's like, do I want to be part of this anymore? And like that is a luxury. I get that. Like it's a luxury to be able to turn down a job potentially. And also it's a luxury to date someone just for love and no financial security at all. So maybe there is a little bit of that bias coming through. Because I don't know, I do have friends that have this disparity and a lot of them are pretty well off. So maybe to them, it's actually not that big of...
Yeah, right. But the respect, I mean, everyone's going to have their own different opinion. So I can only speak for myself. Yeah. I can only respect my partner if he's able to take care of himself, first and foremost. Like, I don't care about him paying for me, but can he pay for himself? Can he have a lifestyle that he's proud of? That is what builds respect for me. I also thought there was a moment in this movie, and Julie, I'm sure you'll agree, that I was like, don't they have consultants for movies? Why didn't anybody say this? The girl makes $80,000.
I know.
Lives in
A
New
lot
York
of people
City
have
by
said
herself.
that. I know.
Hello, that was already so disconnected.
So maybe she comes from about no, just kidding.
But like seriously, like they couldn't just like add 20,000 more.
I know they should have, just to like make that not something that people even talked about.
Right? Exactly.
Or why even disclose her salary?
Why even disclose it? Exactly.
Like they don't need it. I mean, I don't know. I just loved the parallels it brought though. Yeah. And like I do feel like when you're so focused on like this ideal person with the checklist and who they are, like that scene at the beginning when she's like at the wedding of one of her clients. And she like is getting cold feet about the wedding. And she's like, why do you want to get married? And it's basically to like show her sister that she got like the best, like the trophy guy, right? Yeah. And I think that's like, people aren't going to blatantly say that, but I do think that like there's a side of dating nowadays that feels like we could have our pick of all these characteristics. We call it love on demand. It's like you're shopping on Amazon for this perfect partner. And I think that is very detrimental to like lose track of the larger vision of like someone that gets you and loves you. And I think that's what Chris Evans' character was saying to her, is like, I promise to be that person that's there for you. And we overlook that in today's world. That's why I liked it.
Mm-hmm. But we also hear that in every vow at every wedding. Like, I'm here for you. I'm going to be your person. How many people carry through with that promise? I just feel like it was so simplistic the way she wrote his lines that it made me question, like, how do you know? How do you know this is the person that's going to be with you? Like, he can say that now.
But she knew because she had the history with him. Like, I get as a viewer, but like sometimes you know if someone's like, I don't know. That's maybe I'm just like romantic and I like
you are the romantic. You're the dreamer. I am definitely the more like, how is this really gonna work out? Yeah. I kept thinking like, is he gonna move in with her? Is he going to pay her half the rent? Like, how are they splitting?
You were too caught up in the logistics.
I am. I'm like, how is this realistically going to work? Because again, I lived in New York City. I fell in love with a guy that was almost he was homeless for about a week. And it's like, how is this? And I was in my 20s, okay? In my mind, I was like, oh, yeah, no, I will support us through this rough period.
Yeah.
You know, this will work because love will conquer all. And no, it didn't.
I mean, I definitely see that side of it. I totally get, and I agree. I don't think that it's enough. I think people are saying, like, he didn't have any development in that time. I think like the message I took away from it though is like she realized what was important. And like they use that.
I agree with. Yes.
Different.
She's trying to prove a point. Yes.
She's trying to prove a point because it's a movie. But like, yes. Get it.
But people have missed the point.
I think people have missed. I think that's what, I mean, people that love it are saying that. That people that you're just like proving the point of the materialists. Okay, can we talk about the leg surgery?
Okay,
have you heard of this? Like prior?
Oh yes,
yeah,
yes. It's huge in Asia. It's just height has back up. There's all these. There's like a montage in the movie of her interviewing people what they want in a partner, and so on the men's side, it's always like I want them young. And there was like some 40-year-old that was like, oh, nobody over 30, even 29's pushing it, right? And then on the women's side, it's like, gotta be 6 feet, gotta be 6 feet. It's all about being 6 feet. It's gotta be taller. Oh, he says he's 6 feet. Is he really 6 feet? Like that was what they were honing in on. So then they highlight the surgery that people can get where they break your legs and then they reattach them to grow longer. And you can get up to 6 inches of height from it. What they did not say in the movie is that you are bedridden for 6 months before you can even walk. It is a very invasive surgery.
Wow. I mean, this guy was basically the lead, like the guy that was supposed to symbolize
the rich man.
The rich guy got it. And he was the unicorn. She couldn't understand like why he was like still available. Is basically like if he was short, he wouldn't be an attractive partner anymore.
Right.
And yeah.
Wait, what did you think of it? The surgery?
I mean, I've definitely heard of this before. I don't think I've heard of it as like prominent in a movie before, but I've definitely heard of it maybe like more like through you and like in Asia. Like I feel like it's not really talked about much in the US.
No, I have never heard of anybody getting it.
No.
Here.
But I like I mean it's such a thing. Like this height thing. I feel like apps have made it more of a thing because you could filter, right? Like back, like when you weren't meeting someone online, it's like the Amazon effect of like, let me put every last criteria of what I want in a person. And you're like, of course I want 6 feet over 5'11". But like if you met that same person in person, you wouldn't even know if they were 6 feet.
No.
That's like the crazy part
measuring.
to me. Right. You don't have like a ruler that you're just like putting up there. What I liked about it though is just showing, like, I think he like made some comment like how like women weren't attracted to him. He didn't have job opportunities. It just shows the world that we're in and like how far someone will go.
Yeah, and it's a very realistic conversation because in the montages of her interviewing her potential clients, it's so fascinating that when you first ask someone like, what are you looking for in an ideal partner? Everybody goes through the fluffy stuff, like someone kind and someone patient and someone who, really wants a commitment. And then she'll pitch someone to them and they'll go, no, too old, or no, too short. That's when the real shit comes out, is when they're presented with an option. Yeah. But if you ask people point blank what they're looking for, they don't lead with that because they know it doesn't
socially acceptable.
Mean anything. Right.
Like that one woman that was like, I want someone of like any ethnicity, but preferably white. And she kept saying it. She's like,
but only
so
white.
You want someone white? And she's like, no, I'm open, but preferably white.
Or preferably white. Yeah. Yeah. I still remember that conversation we had with one of our mutual friends. She was like going through a breakup and she's like, I'm ready to expand into other ethnicities. I don't want to just date white guys anymore. And then another friend introduced her to someone and she's like, oh, I didn't mean that ethnic. Wow. Not that ethnic.
I don't know if it was Lily Womble. I was listening to her. Like she did she's like an Instagram post that I think she might have worked with Celine at this place.
Oh.
Yeah. And she made some comment, I think it was her, or maybe it was a press I read with Celine, that like basically like in this industry, you hear like the nastiest things that are like going on in people's minds.
I'm sure.
You think you can pay for it.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm just putting this out there to everyone that thinks matchmaking is the solution to dating right now.
It's not.
It's not.
It is such a scam.
It's such a scam. And like Yue and I were interviewed. I'm saying it, whatever. We were interviewed for an article about matchmaking. And I don't think the woman liked our responses. No. We were not included in the article. And I think she was looking for it to be the solution, the silver bullet to dating right now.
The only time I think matchmaking makes sense is if you're match made by someone who knows both of you well.
Yeah, totally.
You got to know someone's character. But as a matchmaker, it's a numbers game for them. Mm-hmm. There's a scene in the movie where she's just walking down the street. Some guy walks by and she goes, hey, you single? Yeah. Like, come join my matchmaking service. She's not asking like, are you a kind person? Do you have a criminal record?
Like a rapist?
Yeah. Yeah. She has no idea. She's just like, oh, hot single guy. Join my roster.
People can lie too.
Absolutely.
As she found out.
Yep. People lie all the time. So you're basically having a stranger match two strangers. How is that any different than just a dating app introducing you to other strangers?
It's actually way worse because it's a stranger.
You're paying.
You're paying, so your list has quadrupled from what it was. And there's a pressure to find you someone, anyone.
Yes.
I was a date once. Because they also try to fill the databases, right? Because they need dates. And I literally got on the phone because I had friends that worked for this company. And they're like, join our database. I'm like, sure, sounds good. I talked to someone. They were like, oh, tell me about yourself. Send me some photos of people you've dated so I get your type and all that. And it sounded like they cared about me. And then literally 5 minutes later, I get a message, oh, we have someone for you. And I was like, great.
Yeah.
They're like, he's not really your typical type. Like literally we had nothing in common. But I went on the date because I didn't even see a photo. And they were just trying to fill a quota for him because he's paying and he needs dates. And I'm like, how is this good for him either? He's matched with someone that would...
fucking waste of time.
it's a waste of time. Like, it was just like one of those moments that I'm like, there's like, again, I'm all for giving people tries, but if you just like, you feel nothing like that, like you can't force it either. It was one of those dates that I went and I was like, there is no way I would have ever matched with this person on a dating app, ever.
No. Same with my experience with our mutual friend who's a matchmaker. She's like, "Oh, I have the CEO client.
Yeah, that's how they lead.
He's so good looking. He's so successful.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing is he doesn't want to date Asians, but I think you can pass." And I'm like, "What? Excuse me?"
And he was Asian too.
He was Asian, but he didn't want to date Asians. So I show up to this date thinking maybe she made that up. So we have this date that's like, not, it's fine. It's blah. Yeah. And then I come back and she's like, "Oh, his feedback was that he didn't want to date Asians." I'm like,
you're like, no, oh, because I was going to go and my race was going to change. Yeah.
That's just going to put some powder on. I don't know what. Yeah. I was going to hopefully trick him into thinking I'm not Asian. What the hell?
Sat with her and other people and they were like, "Oh, they're Jewish. Great.
Yeah. Great.
Like, it's like they love tennis. They love tennis. Done. Like the most superficial things that do not matter in the long term. It's just such a waste of money.
It is.
Such a waste of money.
If that's the message you take away from Materialist, that is the right message. It's just
that's
the matchmaking industry is fucked up.
Because I was like, I feel like this encapsulates so well what's happening in this industry for sure. Celine's song was in that position for 6 months.
For sure.
Actually, Lily said this, that she wanted to write this movie back then. She was probably like, what the F?
Oh.
Like, what the F is going on? This is great material. And so I that's why I loved it. I loved it for that. I loved it for disclosing this industry and what a scam it is. I loved it for shining light on this larger like infiltration of the checklist mentality that we've all come to and how ultimately that stuff isn't really what matters. And that's what I took away from it and loved it.
And I loved the message that you got from the movie. And I wish that the characters were written differently to get that message across, because I think now it's causing this divide in which women feel attacked. Like the people who took away the message that I got walked away thinking, oh, I'm now supposed to like really lower my standards for love. So unfortunately, I just think it could have been written better. Past Lives was a much better movie. It had so much more nuance. This was like oversimplified way of her trying to prove a point when I don't even think there needed to be a love story. I think there could have been a different way of getting this message across. But I'm glad that it did shed a light on the matchmaking industry and what a crock of shit it is. And that if you are dating right now, just go out there and meet people in however way that you see fits you. And if you want to be introduced or matched, ask a friend, ask someone you know really well, like have some sort of connection and network to this person.
Well, people always ask, like, whenever I tell people that I met my fiance on Hinge, they're like, oh my God, you're so rare, which is crazy.
So not rare.
Dating apps are the number one way to meet someone. Yeah. But the reality is I took this stuff as face value of like all the criteria that were judged against. And I think when you really get into that, like I need someone that checks all the boxes and does that. Of course, like dating apps are going to be the absolute worst. Of course they are. And I looked at it as like, this is just a way to meet people and focus more on the big picture of who this person is and how they work for me. Yeah. And I really think whether you're meeting someone in person or on an app, that's the mindset that needs to happen. And to your point, I agree. Like maybe you have a few non-negotiables. Like I will admit, like I did want someone, I didn't want someone to like support me, but I wanted an equal. I wanted someone that could stand on their own.
Fuck yeah.
That being said though, like, I mean, it's hard to say like what is ultimately the best. Like I definitely know like situations that aren't always like that and they work, you know?
Sure. Yeah. I don't think it's about guilting someone who is in a situation that they're trying to get out of. But the end of the movie, again, going back to character development, he's like, I promise that to love you forever, but I can't promise I'll make more money. I can't promise that
that's who he was.
I
and she
can
was
provide
accepting
more,
it.
but I can promise that I will work more catering jobs. And I was like, damn, okay, that's going to be your life. But sure, if that's what she's accepting, that's what she's accepting. I think it's about a person's journey. Because yeah, you could be in a relationship with someone very financially stable and they could lose their job, they could lose their stability. That could definitely happen. But it's the journey. If someone's not, to me, it's like if someone's not willing to grow or change or to find a better life for themselves, that's more of the problem than how much money they're making then.
Yeah, but he was, again, pursuing a dream of it. I don't know. I guess I don't have as big a problem with it. Like, I think people are saying it's like broke man propaganda, and I just don't think that's like what it was really about.
Well, yeah, she just chose the wrong character. Like, why make him a theater actor? Make him an accountant. That's what I'm saying. Just make him an accountant.
Well, because that's the point she's trying. This discourse, the fact that this much convo is happening would not have happened if he was an accountant. It'd be a boring movie.
Okay. All right. We'll see. Well, I don't know.
I don't know. I will stand on the hill that I really love the movie, and I was very pleasantly surprised. I see the points, but I think overall, to me, I think it was very powerful what it was saying overall.
And I'm very happy that you took away that from the movie, and I will support all Asian American directors and writers. I just think this is a flop from Celine in terms of writing, but I think go see it. Like, I'm not going to tell you all to not see it. Go see it. Let us know what you think. Send us an email, DM us, whatever it may be. We really want to hear what you're thinking and what you're taking away from it. And hopefully what we've said hasn't tainted what you think.
I want to put a poll up on Spotify and then also in our Facebook group.
Yes,
to get a feel, and probably Instagram too. So just follow us.
Yes.
Basically follow us somewhere. We'd love to hear your opinion. It's very polarizing. I think I'm glad we're able to have this convo because these are the two opinions of this. And I knew after I saw the TikTok parts that you were going to like have issue with like the brokenness. I knew that was going to be your
thing. Brokenness. No, it's just, he's a fucking loser. He's not just broke. He's a loser. Sorry, Chris Evans.
But it's her true love. It's her love, her life.
Good luck, girl. Good luck. All right. That is all for this week.
This is a long one. We had a lot to say. A lot to say on this topic. Okay.
All right.
Make sure to subscribe, get the podcast, and we'll see you next week. Actually, yeah, we'll be a little on break for Brunch Talk for a little, but we'll continue to do live. So this will be kind of the wrap of Brunch Talk until we're on our next season, but we'll be on YouTube still.
Yay.
Bye.
All right. Bye, y'all.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.